G'day everyone, and welcome back for some more crane building. I promised in the last Survival Impossible that I was going to build a lifter in the next episode so that I could actually put my walls together, and, well, I think this vehicle might be a bit too big as a starter, and I hope that I'll be able to come up with some other ideas about something potentially a little bit smaller, maybe a little bit more usable and user-friendly as a starting vehicle. And I was just sent a link to another, well, to another vehicle by X27, which is seriously cool. This is what I would think of as a cherry picker. It's quite a cool little bucket mounted, well, bucket lifter thing that is actually set up in a very fun way. Interesting thing is whether it drives okay, which it looks like it does. But I was just having a look at the actual bucket itself, and this thing's pretty cool. So I may steal some of the ideas of how this works. So what we've got are two toggles to change the direction of movement, and displays that show us which way it's actually going, which is, you know, kind of handy. And then the buttons for on off. So on off, and I'll move up, which has moved me quite a ways up. And then you can even have your rotation, so I can control everything quite nicely from up here, which I really like. I think this is done really well. I think the whole truck is probably a little expensive for what I'm looking for. How high is that? Good question. Let's see. So you could probably weld up to 8 blocks high with that. So that's impressive. And that's another advantage of building something like this that doesn't have any cargo capacity, is you can build something that goes up this high with just basic rotors. You don't need anything more fancy for it. So it's definitely, you know, something that would be a nice benefit of having just the bucket instead of having something that's got cargo and the extra weight that has going along with it and all that sort of stuff. So it's this is pretty cool. Let's go down. So once I've gotten something, or if I decide to go something like this, I may have a look at this timer setup and see if, whoops, okay, it's not happy about that. I may have a look at the timer setup and see if I can set up something similar to this in terms of a control scheme. But what I was thinking about initially was that I might be better off with something that I can walk up and down, rather than something that I have to move around in while I'm on. So what I was thinking was, can I actually... I probably can't show off with that. Thanks, Shocks. What I was thinking, something like... well, something more like a firefighter's ladder. Though I could easily just do something simple like this, where this unfolds and then... so if I demonstrate quickly using build vision... oh, wrong way. So if that unfolds to, say, that angle, and then the other one goes similarly far, that should be something that I can walk up. So I can walk up and I can do stuff the whole way along it. The risk, of course, is, well, falling off and killing myself, which obviously I would prefer not to do. Wait, but the reason I'm not doing a flying platform is from a number of perspectives. One, expensive. Two, extremely power expensive, especially on a 1.9G planet. So not really practical. Especially when I'm not that well off for power overall. Mobile DLC narrow stairs. Alright, let's have a look at how big that would end up being. Because that would need to be large grid. Because that's catwalk. Yeah. So being large grid, I think that'll end up massive. There wouldn't be any way to move that around. Yeah, good point, Grackle. Rovers are more fun. So I'm thinking something like this, but I suppose it could be done with ladders. You could have the ladders actually stack. The other option would be to go something really, really simple, well, relatively simple, and compress a bunch of pistons into a tight space to see if I can use that as a lifter. I've been shown some designs along that line of thinking that seem like they might work. But what I would like to do first is actually design a little bit of the platform that this is going to be built from. So that would be the battery and then the wheels, so that I know the size that I'm working with. So it's really more about fitting to a particular platform dimension than anything else. Because I'm thinking something a similar size to the food truck would be ideal. Something nice and little, can fit into a lot of spaces, but maybe won't fit in everywhere. But at least would be reasonably compact. So this was about the size of the food truck, I think. So start with that as my platform. I don't think I'll be putting any control seat on this one though. This one will be remote control only, and maybe even an antenna. That way, that way. Yeah, Natamir, you're right. I probably should consider some sort of landing gear for stability whenever I'm actually lifting this thing up. I don't think I'll be working from the ladders. The ladders would be more like... let me just demonstrate it. If I have a ladder, like, why aren't you letting me place you where I want you? Like this. And then have a little bit of a, whoops, step. I should then be able to climb up this one. And it should be far enough ahead of me that I shouldn't jump. Oh no, I did jump onto the next one. Rats. Okay, that was within the distance of my ladder tests. Okay, that's not going to work. I was thinking you'd be able to hop off the ladders midway, so you'd get up one and then stand on top of it, up the next, down on it. But they have to be fairly far away, and I can't remember from my testing video exactly how far away that is. Nah, batteries are perfect structural equipment. Otherwise this would be way too high off the ground. So let's have a look at what I could do with just a basic piston setup. If I go with... I feel like I want it to be that block there. Oops. I pop that there, get rid of that. Then put a piston in there. And extend it just a touch so that it doesn't all clang out. Set my minimum distance. That should be about right. Yeah. Because with something even this size, that's going to get me up to the 3rd or 4th block. In fact, I should set up a little test rig next to it and put some character tools on my hotbar to see what I can actually reach. And so then on this, I'm just going to copy that for a second. My thought would be, so, okay, thinking back to this design, which you should be able to walk up this ladder and almost get in the bucket, but you can't quite. And my scissor lift design, which was also very difficult to get into, I need something that I can get into without using a jetpack. So I need some way to jump up onto this thing and jump onto the platform and then be able to weld from it. And that's going to be difficult with a lot of the bigger designs. So however I do this, I'm going to need to make sure that I have something like a ramp to climb up. Like so. If that's going to be there, what I will do is maybe put a half block on top. Yeah, 5 blocks wide will be fine. Something like that. Just very simple, not trying to make this too complicated right now. I'll try and do something better in the end, but I think that's not going to work. So that's too big a gap. Oh no, I can make it up. Cool. Yeah, that's true, Vox. You can use a ladder horizontally that you just click onto, like getting into a cockpit, and then use that to cheat your way on. That is a good point. I'm not sure that I want to go that way. Feels a little cheap. Oh wait, hang on. I need to give myself a control panel somewhere. That'll do. Because I need to group these two. Oh yeah, good point, Belkan. Something like this would make more sense to make it easier. Obviously this is terribly ugly and I'm not planning on building something exactly like this. I just want to test concepts and then do some fiddling of whichever concept I like the most at the end. So there we go, that actually made that relatively easy to get up. I want reverse, and I want toggle on off. So reverse. And one of them is set quite slow, so we will slowly get up to... Okay, so I could probably reach a 4th block up, I think, from here. Maybe not to place it, but at least to grind and weld it. So that could work. Like, that's a fairly simple lifter. And this is kind of what I think would be the way to go for my first lifter vehicle. Not something too crazy expensive, and then later on get something epic like this truck, because it is really cool and it looks cool too, especially if I end up making my food truck look like a food truck. It'll be really fun having the two of them parked next to each other, I think. Let's pop this in here so I can control this thing and get it close to and check out whether I really can weld. And ooh, I should probably reduce the power on these wheels. Yeah, so I can easily weld that up. Nice. That's not a bad idea, plate glass. Maybe try and give this a few more degrees of articulation. Something to give it a little more complexity and a little more flexibility, so that once I've parked it in position, I can still move around a bit. Okay, so that works well enough, almost, for my Survival Impossible base, as it turns out, because I probably need to get up maybe to 5 blocks, I think. Yeah, you guys should know that I'm not going to just sit and rest at something like that. Come on. I need to get taller, and I need to get a bit more complicated. Right, so if how else could I do this so that I can get a bit more out of it? I'm just trying to think about how much power this vehicle should really need to have, and whether it does need a big battery or whether I could get by with the little batteries. Because the little batteries would give me a nice flat base. What I'm going to do is change this game over to survival and see if I can run out of power by using the little batteries. Oh yeah, that design is terrible for actually trying not to die. It needs to have a lot of changes made. XSFX, I don't have to worry about deletion. I've got trash cleanup off. I do that for all my recorded series, because I don't want something getting deleted and ruining my fun. The only worry I have about power is being able to actually use the thing when I want to use it. Okay, so if we're going to use batteries, I could probably go with something like this. I want the same rough platform, because I would like to stick to this same platform, though maybe I could make it an extra block longer. That'd be 1, 2, 3, yeah, 6. And that would be it. And there. There we go. So we'll see how long this takes to run out. Shock, I can jump onto 3x3 wheels in 1.9 Gs. So I'm pretty confident that I can jump this because it's shorter than the wheels. So I'm not worried about that. I know the height. I know the approximate heights I can jump. I can jump onto a 5x5 wheel if there's a slight downward slope, and I can always jump onto a 3x3. It's one of the reasons I wanted to use them on this, is because it means that I can always jump up onto the wheel. Because despite the high gravity and things making me fall faster and harder, it doesn't seem to limit my jump height very much. I'm not exactly sure why. It does limit it a bit, but not as much as I would have thought when I first started with the idea. Okay, so my thinking with the pistons is that if I start here, then what?
Fuel low.
Oh wait, window. So,
Fuel
why do I
critical.
type glass? I always do that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just trying to remember what I was actually planning on doing here. And then I can do... that. Huh. Fascinating. Which collision did I mess up there? Can I get in there without... Nope. Huh. Oh, okay. That was too close to the center battery. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's try that again. This is why we test in creative. Because I'd rather that not happen in Survival Impossible. That would be expensive. Actually, if I do this, do I then create enough room for myself to play with these pistons? I think I might with this. So then I want... Where are my blast doors at? Actually, I don't want to use blast doors on top of this. This is what I want the windows for, because they're nice and skinny blocks. But then pop this down here. Now, I'm trying to remember the name of the person whose video I saw a similar idea to this on, and if it comes to me, I will let you know, but it's just not coming to me right now. But this is a nice compact way of, height-wise, stacking pistons. So you can see I've got two pistons in that same height, so now I've got the same or very similar lifting height to this, minus the 1 meter of height I get from that piston being up there, but it's all at a much lower height, which will be easier for me to get on and off. So that's what I was kind of thinking. Now in theory, I should be able to put those batteries back. Might copy it this time, just in case I'm wrong. Nope, I was wrong. Wonder which collision they're unhappy with. Oh, right. It's only large grid pistons that have the smaller collision box. Small grid ones don't. Ha. Yes. That makes sense. That is the problem. So I should be able to do something like this to at least make it feel like this has a little more structural integrity down the middle. At least visually. Actually, in theory, I should be able to do more than that. Now I'm going to be working with a lot more copy pastes because I don't want to have to rebuild this from scratch again. Like that. There we go. That looks a little less ridiculous. Still looks ridiculous, but a little less. So now what I could do is stack a second set of pistons up there and then build the bucket out to this side. That would be an option. Still not sure that pistons are the most compact way to go. I feel like you could make something that reaches a lot higher using rotors. Maybe? But I'll see what I can do with this design initially. As suggested, I will extend this just to make it easier. So then I could either use glass or use half blocks as the platform. I would tend to use half blocks just because I like having an armoured platform for looks. So you can see how that would work. It's fairly straightforward.
Fuel critical.
Doesn't give us much articulation though. Let's just pop minimum distance up to 0.1 just to make sure that things don't go clanging. Dang it. They still do. Needs to go higher than that. Oh, wrong grid. Let's see at what point it starts being a problem. Okay, something around there. Good to know. So that'll be easily able... I'll be easily able to get up on this in 1.9 Gs. Oh, would I want to use ladders that are visibly collapsed on each other though, Akima? Yeah, Mackerel, it would be pretty funny if I could do that. I don't know. I don't know that I'm happy with the idea of making things visually clip through each other, even if I can get away with it. Because the ladder's hitbox is thinner than the model. I need to do the same thing I did to the other one on here. There's a difference between collapsible and solid objects clipping through each other though, plate glass. Big difference. Where's my... What's control button hidden under? Oh, it's on the button one. Ugh, that'd be why I had that on my menu. Still getting used to all the stuff that's been moved to different places. Oh, wait a second. So, same as before, I'd just go with reverse and with toggle on off. Because with those two controls you can go down, and then when you need to stop, you can stop. Go back up. Having some sort of indicator to say which way you want to go up would work reasonably nicely. Oh, that would be a little bit disconcerting. Alright. Piston designs. I think I'm going to try a rotor design now and see if I can come up with something that's going to have better reach in the same footprint, because you can collapse it down a bit differently. Auto eject, its hidden feature. I don't know how hidden it'd be after the first time you used it though. Let's go with rotor, then one out sideways, although I probably want to add blocks in here and just give myself enough clang clearance. Rotor, and then what I could do to make this really collapsible is put pistons as my long segments. So instead of having it as solid blocks, this will then be able to fold out and extend even further. Like even actually, this design alone is going to reach further than the other one because it's already got 3 pistons on it. And I could put the bucket out the front here at walking height.
Fuel critical.
Yeah, I go in the real world they would be a scary bad idea, but in Space Engineers you can do this. Probably not off there actually. Maybe off here. Because I can probably fit a landing gear under here. That gives us infinite lock strength to the ground. And then all I need to do is drive around, lock that down, and then I can deploy the lifter however I like. Although it's not infinite strength, it does have a limit. Yeah, Demon Works, they kind of are. In this context, I think there are certain things I have to accept as you can't really do much different. Like if I thought there was a way to make this base heavy enough that it would balance, I would totally go that way, and I almost guarantee there will be times where I'll forget to lock it down. But I think we could even do something like this. 4 pistons, and then have just a... Oh no, I'm going to need a rotor on the end, aren't I? So that it doesn't... so that the bucket doesn't end up sideways. Almost forgot a critical part. Got to have a counter rotor to the lifting one, so that this stays horizontal. And then... just doing something rough at the moment. Just want to make sure I've got enough clearance that when it swings back, I'll have to make sure I set up the rotor angles correctly so that this doesn't all just explode. Maybe something like that would be better. Yeah. A little bit of extra clearance. Deploy all counterweights to the back, even if you forget, you could deploy later. Yeah, I suppose you could do something like a counterweight like that to make sure that you don't have a problem. I think I will end up sticking with the landing gear though, because it does work, and you, I suppose, could imagine it's like drilling a pile into the ground and locking onto it that way. Fox, turning off the rotor wouldn't work because the rotor, this weight is not balanced about the rotor, so the whole thing will just tip down. So I need to have them both rotating at the same speed and in opposite directions instead of that. Let's just make a little bit of a cage so that I can't seriously easily fall off. Almost walk up. No, not going to use MMOS. I would prefer to use buttons, to be honest. I do need to learn about how to use MMOS. It's something that I haven't played around with enough to get my head around it, but I really, really, really want to. I'm going to have to put the buttons up here, at least with this design, until I fiddle around with it a bit more. So I'll need buttons for control of the rotors and buttons for control of the pistons, one on each side, I think. Yeah. I think this may well be the way I go, because this thing kind of looks cool. It's wonky and awkward. I'd probably want to move the wheels one block forward. Yeah, isn't it ever? Every time I jump in, it just bounces around. I'll need to put some shared inertia tensor on a few of those blocks. So, we need a pistons group. This is the rotor swivel. These are the two lifting rotors. Ah. I need even more controls than this. Because I need controls for the swivel rotor. Ugh. That's going to get interesting with vanilla buttons. We'll have to do that. Okay, so in theory, what I should be able to do is set up these angles first. So this one, let's copy this in case it all explodes. This one is currently at 360, so 0. And it is going to spin counterclockwise, so its upper limit will be 0. And its lower limit will be minus 90, I think. We'll see if I got this right. Nope, got it wrong. Other way around. And the upper limit should not be 90. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! Dang it. Oh, I think I broke it. Yeah, we'll need a bigger bucket. I will sort out some of that stuff once I figure out a control scheme that's going to work now. So I think that's going to be the challenge. So, lower limit, 0. Upper limit, maybe say 65 degrees. I think will be enough. Velocity 1. Let's have a look. Demonworks, you could, except for the fact that if you used advanced rotors, you'd also have to use conveyors only. You wouldn't be able to use pistons because pistons are small conveyors, so they can't pass things like steel plate. Yeah, I think 65 is about right. So this one should go from 0 to 65 as well. 0. Upper limit. I hope I'm right. Yeah, there we go. I think it'll be more stable with the rotor on and just reversing both of them at once so they both work together. Cool, so if I set up those rotor controls, let's test them out. Groups. Lifting rotors. So I want reverse and... Ooh, what I need to do is grab my lifting rotors and put their braking torque up to something decent. Because that way when I turn them off, they'll stop. So, like I did with the pistons, I can do the same control scheme. So I can hit reverse, we can go down, I can then hit off, and I'll stop. On, and I'll keep going down. Off, stop, reverse, up. Yeah, I could use rotor lock, I guess. But this... Actually, can I use rotor lock? Rotor lock I find is a bit delayed sometimes. I'm kind of happy with this. This is cool.
Fuel critical.
Plus the advantage of on-off is power saving. Alright, pistons. And I want reverse. And on-off. Oh jeez. Okay, I slowly get pushed out of the bucket. That is terrifying. Oh boy. How high up am I? That's kind of impressive. And I could probably go a little bit steeper too. That is share inertia tensor off. That's not even using any magics. And it works this well. I mean, those pistons are moving way faster than I want them to. Much, much faster. This has worked out to be quite cool. Vox, I don't want a cockpit because a cockpit is big and I need to be able to hand weld from this thing. One thing I've got to try with this. Let's lift up. Then I've got my swivel rotor. So reverse. Oh, I need to do its thing as well. Rotor swivel. Braking torque. Oh wait, there's no velocity on that either. Velocity of 1. So then we have... Where's my rotor swivel? So if I turn it on, I can move myself around. Hope that that doesn't clip on the battery. It's looking very dicey. Oh. Sweet! Ha. Yeah, Mackle, small components don't pass easily through small pistons. It's just most of the stuff that I would want to move up there, I won't be able to. What I may do, though, is put a couple of small cargo containers on this thing so I can load it up with at least a few bits and pieces that's a bit more than what I carry on my suit for Survival Impossible. Hey, Remethep. How's it going, man? Yeah. I think this kind of works. I'm quite happy with this. Now I just need to finesse the design so it actually looks good and has all the... isn't just basically a bucket full of buttons. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to check whether I could do. Can I walk down this? If I set the angle right, I should be able to jump up on the wheel, jump up on the pistons. Ooh, no. Walking on pistons might be a bad idea. Because it seems I keep getting bounced off. Oh no. It's not too bad. I could be able to get back on and off.
Fuel critical.
How do you intend the ladders to work when I've got pistons there and they're extending and retracting? I cannot see a way that ladders are going to remotely help here. Because all they're going to do is sit there, and then when it extends out, I'm not going to be able to use them anyway. So, nope, no ladders. Ladders don't help. Mackle, if I'm putting a large grid piston on, I may as well just build manual scaffolding at that point. That's a little bit bigger than I'm planning. Like, this thing's quite compact. Let me show you a large grid piston beside it. This is a large grid piston beside my rover. That is not practical. Stability with the landing gear off. Let's see. Let's just copy another one just in case. It's going to be terrible, by the way. Unlocked. Ooh. Turn auto lock off. Unlock. Let's see at what point this thing tips over. Lifting rotors are up. Yeah. Sounds like an explosion when that happens. Interesting. Apparently this platform is really stable. Check that out. Yeah, the landing gear is helping, but it is definitely not locked. That's seriously cool. That is epic. Apparently, the low center of gravity of wheels. Let me get rid of this landing gear and see if... Yep. It was resting on the landing gear. Oh, man. So all I need is the landing gear. I don't even need to lock it. That's a good safety feature. Yeah. Let's see if it'll stay without its thing. Oh, I'll go that way then. Oh. Man, these cranes are so much fun to play around with. I love this sort of stuff. I used to love doing this with Lego and all that sort of thing, and now, is that landing gear locked? I thought this one was one of the ones that was off. Yeah, this one's off. There we go. Check that out. As long as I don't rotate myself behind the grid. So if I limited the swivel rover to a 180 degree arc from here around to there, I should be safe. And wouldn't need to have any landing gear at all. At least for perfectly flat ground. Yeah, it's totally smooth enough for a gimbal. Ew.
Energy low.
Actually, it kind of is. After it gets going. Oh, this is amazing. This is kind of exactly what I was dreaming of when I first thought of building a lifting vehicle. Something like this that I can control with buttons. Okay, maybe not 180 degrees. I wonder if I can write this. By spinning myself around. Oh. Oh. Okay. Then we need... Oh no, wrong way! Reverse. I want to go the other way. These are important tests to check. Bang! Oh, jeez. That doesn't look happy. Yep, that is how you make pancakes. But maybe like a 160 degree arc in front of the wheels would work, because then I've got like a decent amount of body weight in front of it. Yeah. Yeah, I could do the gyro thing. The trouble with gyros is that... Whoa! Okay. Don't use the pistons while they're bouncing around. Huh. So... The trouble with gyros on the base is they fight the wheels trying to steer it. So if I'm ever planning on using wheel steering, I tend to avoid them. What I might do is I think the lower limit should be 1 degree. Just to give it that little bit of extra clearance over the battery. But the other thing to do would be set each of these to share inertia tensor on. And that will get rid of some of the wobble. So the rotors can have it off, but the pistons will all have it on. This should be safer. Yeah, so look how much smoother that is. There you go. Yep, Mackerel, that's a pretty safe bet around me. And Capac. So yeah, I think having the share inertia tensor on for the pistons is the way to go. The rotors are then strong enough to move the rest of it around without too much trouble. And that should work pretty well. Oh, that's right. I don't have sun rotation on this. I was smart when I set it up. Yeah, once I get Capac to the point that he knows how to use pistons and rotors well enough, I do want to do a kind of launching stuff competition with him. But basically the launching stuff would be we have a competition to launch each other, and the person who launches the other person the furthest wins. But I need him to understand this stuff better, and he doesn't yet. So it would not be particularly fun for him, and would probably be more frustrating. So much as I joke around and mess with Capac, I don't like him to be frustrated. Most of what we do, we both find it to be fun, so I don't want to change that by messing around with him too much. Alright, so here's the test for this vehicle. Let's see just how tall it goes. So that's 7
Energy
blocks,
low.
which is definitely going to be enough for my survival impossible build. Tuxmelt, I really hope... Okay, so
Energy.
I'll give you guys a bit of insight into what I spent my time doing last night. Capac has gotten all of his parts for his new PC
Fuel
that
critical.
were very kindly purchased with money that he'd been donated, that had been donated to him on Twitch and things like that. So last night what we did was actually recorded video of him building it. And if that footage and everything goes together nicely, what I would like to do at some point is learn how, or test out with some ideas of things I can do with like Lego builds and doing time lapses with actual Lego stuff at some point, because I think it would be a lot of fun. Oh, I need to get closer. Oh, not that close. Too close. So I can weld 6 blocks up. Or if I'm willing to go for the dangerous approach, 7. Yeah, Guardstar, that talk I was just saying about the PC, that's why there's been no survival unlikely. So there were 2 reasons. Last week, I was recording more of the Grand Tour because the server was going to go down and I had to get that done quickly to get it out of the way. So I had to manage to get enough recorded that I had an ending of some sort for that series, because I didn't want it to just end with, oh, by the way, the server got wiped, so I lost everything. That was fun. So I managed to record an ending, but because of the time it took to record that, there was no time to record Survival Unlikely. And then this week, there's been no time for recording it so far because of building Capac's new PC. Right now, Capac does not have a functional PC. So, unless we manage to get his PC up and running in the next 24 hours, I don't think there'll be a Survival Unlikely this week either. It'll be next week that it'll be coming back. And yeah, I'll try an upper limit of 70. That didn't give me much. There's not a lot to gain from the extra angle at this height, because I'm on the flatter bit of the circle. So... oh yeah, that's a good point. I should use corner LCDs on the buttons. What I'd like to do now is I'm going to try and redesign the bucket and make a decent looking bucket. Because that one looks terrible. It's functional, but it looks pretty ordinary. Yeah. I think I'll try and make a better one. But I'll start with... I should probably start with this one.
No energy.
I'm just going to do something that I do for this, which is power kit. Where's power kit? Power kit. Quickest way to get back energy in creative mode survivalness. Wraparound platform. That makes me slightly anxious. I do actually like having the railings and at least knowing that I just have to keep clear of one side to prevent me from falling off. Oh, talk smell. Jeez. Could add design ideas to the bucket. For the bucket to an LCD. Call it my bucket list. Oh, man. It's the sort of thing I expect from directed energy. Yeah, not adding a welder to the bucket. Welders are enormous, and I want this to be compact. Okay, so may as well design it while up here. Let's get rid of all of this. Blam. What's going to be a good way of managing this thing? Oh wait, I should have this down. It's going to be easier. Oh no! Do Control X instead of Control Delete. Let's paste a new one in. And I'm just going to collapse this down, I think.
Fuel critical.
Oh yeah, I could put a rotor on a... do a little fence thing. Man, that's so much fun, controlling that thing with buttons. Alright. Keep the collapsed one, and let's just copy it, because this one's got all my settings done. And pop off the bucket from there. Occupational health and safety, workplace health and safety, it all means the same thing. It's all rules designed to keep us from dying at work. Wonder if making this out of, like, windows might look alright. And give me a bit more clearance. So the idea I'm thinking with windows is not fully constructed ones, but... oops. Ones that are just the girder. Like that. Because then they give me the cage without having to worry about... yeah, I can go 4 blocks wide. Without having to worry about the full block depth. Yeah. In games we all joke about that workplace health and safety stuff, but it is a valid thing. And sadly, due to some horrible bosses in the distant and not so distant past, a necessary thing to an extent. Okay. If I go with that, then if I pop these on the side as little pillars, I would then have the space for 4 buttons across here, which I can then label on top with LCDs. Either the corner ones like this, that's the top one, I want corner LCD button. Oh no, I can't use bottom. I have to use... I'm gonna have to use flat top, I think. Like this. I should be tall enough when I'm standing on this thing to see what they say. So that'll be my button labels. And then what I'm going to just quickly do is give myself... actually, it should be alright. I was going to give myself a bit more room to work with, but maybe I don't want to. Maybe I do want to make this. So I have to figure out how I'm going to build underneath here. So I'm thinking maybe this would be the way to go with these corner pieces. And I can still put the armor plate on the bottom with the half blocks. And I want this to be a bit bigger than the bucket I had before, so that I've got enough room for all the buttons, since I hadn't planned this many buttons initially. Oh, that would be another option. If I didn't think I had room for the corner LCDs on top, I could make the, instead of this being glass down here, these could be transparent LCDs or just small grid text panels that I could label. So that'd work as well. In fact, I could take inspiration / steal the LCD concept from this and use LCDs underneath. So have the left, right, and up, down, so I know which way things are going. Catwalks are not small ship, no. Oh yeah, I was going to put containers on here, wasn't I?
Fuel critical.
I could. Like, I know small containers don't really gain me much, but even that, it's 125 litres. 4 of them would give me half what my engineer, or a third of what my engineer can carry, a bit over a third. That would kind of work. Oh yeah. I would be able to, because of the way I've done this, I could even put up, down, so rotor up, down, piston up, down, and then my swivel left, right with that. And then if I put a corner, if I put an LCD, I need to have some way of labeling this button, because I've kind of got labels along the top but not labels for these two. No catback ejection button on this one yet. Yeah, I suppose I could just have them reference it vertically, so I could even just put 2 lines of text in here. So if I have, say, rotor on, off, and then rotor reverse. even something like that would be simple enough to pretty much indicate what is going on with those two buttons, especially when this one becomes a, just as an example, swivel, reverse. So because that's only got a single label, it'd be pretty clear what's going on. Yep. Gonna do the gate. Gonna do the gate. Idea. But just wanna figure out how I'm going to do this part first. I could do the bottom two being the left and right, and these being both of the up downs. Yeah, that would work as well. I don't think the cargo containers work very well just there. I think if I do that, and then instead of stacking them end to end, they should really be stacked like this. Because then I can get at them all, because otherwise I won't be able to pass through one to the other. See how ridiculously chunky this ends up looking. Oh, it won't let me place it. Dang it. Need lift. Oh yeah, I definitely need to recheck my balance after this. Remind me of that. It will be a problem if I forget. That doesn't look too horrible. Just thinking. That, and then maybe even with them ground down so that they're just frames. That'll give me access to 8 cargo containers, which is, you know, what's 8? 8 would be 1,000 litres, so pretty close to a whole nother engineer's load. In a very annoying way, but still something I could use.
Critical. Inventory
And I don't really want to use a medium because they're just so big.
Inventory full.
My concession to functionality over aesthetics. Ugh. So, for a gate, I was not thinking rotor, I was thinking piston like on my tram in Survival Maybe. Because then all you need to do is have this. And then it extends, locking you in. Easy. Nice and safe. Just feels like a better solution in some ways. Ah, yeah. I need either a button or a sensor could work for this. Probably a button, actually. Would need a button. Uh-oh. There we go. doesn't look too stupid size-wise. It does look a little bit silly. But... I'm not entirely excited by this. Could probably do a button like that for this side. Ugh. So many buttons! No, you can't put parts into rotor heads. Unless you're talking about building them up and grinding them down. Yeah, right on top probably makes the most sense. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And just pop one straight on there. Because I can still hit that. I don't know which piston. I'm hoping it's this one. Nope. Nope. Yeah, that one. I just go wham, locked in, wham, hop out. Easy. Oh yeah, I probably should have just renamed it. I always forget about that. That would have been the easier way to do that. Dang it, why am I so bad at naming stuff? Oh yeah, if Capac was using this, he would definitely get crushed by the safety gate. I think we all know that. Hey, yay! It works. I don't want an articulated welder head on a boom, largely because they're big, expensive, and don't fit into spaces. And I can't build from it. I can weld from it, but this thing I can actually place blocks from as well as weld blocks. So it's important that I be able to do both jobs from this vehicle. That's why I don't want to weld ahead. Or at least why I wasn't going that angle with it. Alright, where's the marker on this thing? It should be at 0 at the moment.
Fuel critical.
Hey guys, so just joining. So I should be able to go from, say, 75 through to negative 75. There we go. Let's test. You can place from a cockpit, but then I'd be putting a cockpit on the welder as well as the welder, and at that point... yeah. You can place blocks from a cockpit. It's just not as flexible. Oh yeah. I get that the welder will be useful when I'm doing some large build later, but I'm not anywhere near the state of doing any sort of... what am I thinking? Any sort of big build like that. So this will be rotor on off. This will be rotor reverse. This will be swivel reverse. This will be swivel on off. And then this will be the pistons. And this will be the pistons reverse. Okay, time to test. Uh-oh. Rats. Dang it. One of these is not like the other and needs to be fixed. Oh, that's right, that's what I've done. I forgot, I turned one of them to 0 velocity. That's my problem. There we go. Now we can reverse. Lift up. Yes, that was a catback moving around in the background.
What?
And saying what in the background. I believe he's going to be messing with his installation of stuff at some point today. Then I want to piston reverse. Let's try our swivel. It should be safe to swivel at this extension, but then if I move it out further to try and reach... yeah, Eisen. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh no! That ended badly. So apparently my balance is not as good as it was before. Okay. I think I will need that landing gear again. Yeah. Just until I figure out the angle that I can actually go to. So I think this swivel rotor needs to go back the other way a little bit. Maybe that's as far as it should go. So maybe we should have these at, whoops, 60? Yeah, the landing gear would be good. I'm just trying to test it without it to see if it's going to work. Huh. Oh! I wonder if shear inertia tensor is hurting me on this. It could be the massive shear inertia tensor that's messing me up on this one. Yeah.
Fuel critical.
Yeah, I think the combined shear inertia tensor mass of the bucket thing. Rats. Oh, rats, I can't do that. I could center the wheel between the rotors, but then the bucket's going to stick out a long way. So I feel like... Yeah. Artificial mass is something I can't build in Survival Impossible because I don't have any silver. And you need that for the gravity components in it. And artificial mass blocks don't work in natural gravity. They are very heavy blocks. They are quite dense, but they don't work in natural gravity. I think what I will do is I will have to concede and say that the landing gear is a necessity for this thing. And just hope that I don't ever forget to lock it down. Perhaps just leaving it always on auto lock so that it accidentally locks all the time. I did build a scissor lift previously, that's what all this is in the background. And what this truck is here. Yeah. Or, actually what I need is a... why won't that place there? That's weird. Before I get on, have a did you lock your landing gear? Kind of like the did you lock your car at that I've seen at lots of parking things at shopping centres. There we go. A little reminder. I think the suspension height should be high enough that I'd be able to get away with driving and not having to turn off auto lock. Ooh, good question, Dragnon. Can I reach the button? Alright, we need reverse. We need reverse. I mean, I probably don't need to be able to reach this button because I shouldn't be able to lock it when I get out. So it probably doesn't matter. But I can jump and reach it. Oops. You're welcome, T-Bear. You can make all sorts of stuff like horizontal hanger doors. You just need to use stuff like I'm using here. Or use, whatchamacallit? Airtight hanger doors. Yeah, I probably should put a little ramp edge on it. Oh, it's the wrong way around. I can't. I mean, I could use this. As a ramp edge, I guess?
Inventory full. Inventory full.
And then I'll be able to walk up and out. But it does look a bit weird. Yeah, Adventure Key, that's exactly what I meant. Stuff that's lying around all over the place, that's what you can use. Well, I mean, some of it'd be useful, I'm sure. And yeah, I'll definitely be able to jump in at the height that it's at, because I can jump onto a 5x5 wheel in 1.9G. So that's not going to be a problem. XSFX, you've been here through the discussion of why I'm not using advanced rotors, so I'm just going to ignore you when you keep bringing up the same points over and over again. Sorry, man, but you've brought up that so many times, and I've explained so many times why I'm not using it. Yeah, powered. That's going to be the next thing I got to figure out. I suspect I should be able to fit a hydrogen engine somewhere on here. But the other option would be, instead of having this control panel there, is stick a rotor part on and hook it up to something. Could work. I don't want to connect it because they're too big. And yeah, I'd use a remote block to drive this thing, which I have not put on it as yet. But this is just to give me an idea of what I will build in Survival Impossible. Unlike the motorbike design that I completely did from Blueprint, I just want to get the rough concept down, and then I'm going to build the final in Survival Impossible. Yeah, that's a good point about the bucket being low, but if I have a control set up so that I can just lift it up a bit when I need to move it around, that shouldn't be an issue. I just had another thought though. If I set up the angles correctly on the rotors, I could even tip the bucket slightly down so that it's a bit more of a ramp rather than a flat thing. And yeah, I could raise the suspension too to just give me a bit more clearance. So I suppose, yeah, charging from a rotor head on the front like that is probably a reasonable solution. Is there somewhere I could fit an engine on here? Probably not on the side there. I could fit it in... I could make the wheelbase one block longer and put battery and then hydrogen engine in the middle. And then stick all this stuff on. That could work. Oh yeah, that's that's a good point, Dragnon. The battery would need to move one block back. I would want it... Oh, would I? No. I don't know how this will turn. Let's find out. Let's put a remote control on this and see how it handles. Because that would be good to have some forewarning on. See just how bad it is and what I need to change. Oh, that wasn't nice.
Energy low.
Let's fix this up first. What? Ow! I was messing with you again, wasn't I? Let's just make another copy, since I have messed with this one a bit. Yes, I will set a very low speed limit for this thing. That works pretty well. So let's set up the wheels before I start testing the driving of it. First off, power, 10%.
Fuel
Speed limit,
critical.
20. Okay. That should probably be all I need to do. Control from third person, Shift K. Control. Why somebody got park brake on? My wheels off? The wheels should at least be trying to turn. Thank you. Landing gear's locked. Da, 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 da. 20. Strength 10. This drives alright. Yeah, Sicarius, I think you're right. Messing with the angle to make it easy to get in and out would probably mess up the angle for the entirety of its path, which would be less than ideal. So that is top speed. Okay. Oh. Doesn't do too badly on flat ground. Yeah, I think I would extend the wheelbase by one block so that I got room to have both a battery and a hydrogen engine. Oh, but then I need an O2H2 gen as well. Ugh. I don't think that's a good option. The hydrogen engine isn't a valid option, actually. I'm gonna have to charge this off a charging point. Yeah, extending the wheelbase will give me more stability. And I think I've got room to with the length of the pistons. Oh dear, downhill. Yeah, you could turn this into a thing with a connected grid. Ooh. Hold up. Given the wheelbase on this is very similar to the food truck, I could actually set this up to hook up to the food truck. All I'd need to do would be use the rotor and put a little rotor lock, and then this will be able to charge from the... Oh yeah, it'll be able to charge from the solar panels that I've already built onto the food truck. Doesn't need to be a trailer, like they're separate vehicles, but they'll be able to connect up to each other perfectly. And that'll be really easy. Yeah. I like that idea. The internal tank on a hydrogen engine does not last terribly long if it's trying to charge a battery off it. But like, how much power is going out of this battery right now when I'm sitting still? 40 kilowatts. I could probably reduce that a bit. But I think if I have everything set to switch off on this when I need to, I should be able to use fairly minimal charge on this. Yeah, Mackerel, I could make a little battery hookup to this, because I don't know how easily this would hook up to the base. But for the meantime, it'd just hook up to the food truck. Which script, Eisen? Have you been nagging me about? I have a bad memory of these things. There are lots of scripts. I've got a whole bunch of stuff I'm supposed to be testing out that I'm hoping to find time for, but I really, really needed to test this before Survival Impossible this week. Swamp A, I will be putting this on the workshop when I get the version that I build in Survival Impossible finished in Survival Impossible. The wheel power one. Which one? Oh. Is it an auto wheel suspension power state controller? Let me just... Ooh. Let me use my Stream Deck. Does that work? I need to turn off that. There we go. This script. Yeah. Total pro streamer here. Oh, this is one of Nicholas March's one. Script monitors when someone is in control of the vehicle or not, enables the suspension blocks when there is someone in a cockpit or connected using a remote control, and disables the suspension blocks when no one is using the vehicle in an effort to save some power as the idle power usage from the suspension do mount up. Cool. Sure, I will link this in chat for anyone who wants to check it out. There we go. Alright, let's take this to Omicron. I think I've got Omicron in this save.
Fuel critical.
Let's quickly give
Energy
this
critical.
a name. Lifter crane test. Just so I've got a blueprint of it. Because I think I put Omicron in here. Or did I not? Oh, I thought I did it last time. Doop. Yeah, Michael. If only I could trim the branches on the top of the trees, that would be cool. Especially that one that's sticking through my wall. I want to trim that one. Okay. Now I'm deliberately not exactly where my home is on Omicron, because... Okay. Gravity is heavy. Did you lock your landing gear? No. No, I did not. Ugh. I need to give the wheels more strength. That's a bit better. Close that. Control. There we go. Ow!
Fuel critical.
Ow! Ow! Dang it!
No energy.
Should really make myself invulnerable. Oops, wrong button. And Alt F10. Invulnerable. Yeah, Darkseid, those button panel mods would solve the sprawl of the buttons, but I have a thing with my series that I really do like to try and keep my builds, my single player series especially, because they're the ones more about engineering and solving problems. I try to keep things mostly vanilla, and also when I start, I tend to try and keep the series having the same mods at the start as they do down the line, because otherwise you get in this situation of, I run into a problem. Oh, I know how to solve that problem. I'll use another mod. It's just a personal thing for me that I like to keep it that way. There are certain problems that aren't engineerable, like how I added the spotlights mod after starting. But yeah. Yeah, I'm hitting around on a few things. The antenna, the battery, stuff like that. And yeah, the front end is properly off the ground, with the suspension strong. This is drivable on very flat ground. I really need to drive somewhere with... Yeah, TB Silver, it probably is that. The light mod is something that improves the stream, improves... bunch of other stuff as well. Okay, now for some fun. Gotta have some fun. This is definitely when we need to have the gate on. Because otherwise I would slide off. Oh yeah, I will definitely want to have some work lights. Good point. So I think what I need to do as well is make sure I set up my remote control hotbar to have the landing gear lock and the suspension strength toggle for the wheels, so that I will usually move this around, lock it down, and then start using the buttons to control the height of the lift and things. Power brake, eh? That's what the front's for. It's the power brake. So I need to create a group of the wheels. And then adjust my suspension strength. And decrease strength. I really hope that I managed to travel to this area on Omicron. It looks awesome. Should have started in the desert, except I would have died. There we go. We are locked.
Fuel
Now
critical.
I can lose control. And I can... Oh dear. Oh.
Energy low.
So that's a thing. Ah, it's heavy. Huh. Looks like I'm gonna have to have jiggle danger noodles. So I should be able to have share inertia on a couple of them, but not all of them. And then we go... Wobbly wobbly. There we go. As long as I have the correct settings, this thing works. Hey. Oh no. Ah, yes, I can fly out of there. Awesome. Yeah, this thing may end up relying on the cargo capacity of the engineer, but then it may also end up being a thing that I do this with. Yeah. Oops. And then tightrope walk up, rather than having to move the lift around. Because then I'll be able to use this as a stair as well as a lifting vehicle. Yeah. That totally works. Yeah, parkour lift. You're right, XSFX. It is... well, I mean... Survival Impossible is kind of becoming survival parkour.
Energy critical.
With a lot of things. Oh, why? I think a medium cargo would be too heavy. The fact that it struggles with this, I think it would end up being almost impossible for it to lift it with a medium cargo full of stuff. So... I think I'm fairly happy. This'll work. It'll reach the stuff I need it to. Tape Master, The basket is there because I probably don't want to always use it as stairs because it'll be high risk. I'll probably die. Marksman, there's no point piping the cargo because it is small pipes, so it won't hold anything. I won't transfer anything. Items. Steel plate. Don't know how many fit in there. It didn't like that. Oh, jeez. Torque is set to max, Joko. Max experimental max, not max. Non-experimental max. How many of these hold? 40 each. Oh, so I'd be able to weld up almost 2 blocks. Yeah, I think I'm going to be sticking with just engineer, like the engineer's own supplies, to be honest.
Fuel critical.
The nice thing is though, once I'm in position, if I put myself in a position where I can reach what I need, I wouldn't need to extend and retract the pistons. All I'd need to do would be control the rotors to go up and down. So I'd just go down, grab more stuff, up, weld what I need to, down, weld more stuff. And it wouldn't be horrible. It's going to be an interesting test of my patience to see how long I do that and how quickly I turn to jumping onto the danger noodle and running up and down it. But I guess you guys will find that out on Saturday when I try this for real. Hui. Could get interesting. That's probably all the time I've got for streaming today, so there will be more of this on Saturday. So as usual, there's all that, and plenty more to come, because Capac and I need to build / install stuff on his PC. So I will see you guys then. And I will upload the final version of this when I build it in Survival Impossible to the workshop. See you guys later. Thanks for coming along.